All right, let's just start.
I thought Tanner was frozen. I just realized that he just hasn't moved.
Huh? Are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
About to.
Sounds good.
Fires, Mike Sims, Walker, knocked down. Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson himself. Look at him turn back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught. Denver, unbelievable. And welcome to the fourth down fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football. Yes, doesn't matter if it's UFL, ELF, NFL, college football, arena football. Okay, we haven't ever talked about arena football, but we do talk a lot of football on this pod. With me are the rising stars of the podcast industry, the man who gives us prediction credibility, Tanner Vinsky, and the man who made us a Vikings insider, Danny Weber. Please say hello to the people for me, y'all.
Hey.
My name is Jordan. Oh, sorry. What did you say, Tanner?
I said I waved.
Oh. I am y'all's host, Jordan Pryor. I am the guy that athletes like to talk to for whatever reason. And again, you are listening to Fourth Down Fiasco. We ask that you rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Real quick, do just want to say shout out to our friends, ELF Scorigami on Twitter. Please leave us a review. We know you're listening. You told us earlier in the week that you were listening. So
We love you.
we need that 5-star review. It's the best way for us to be able to grow the podcast. Also, while you're at it, follow us on social media. We are at @4thdown_pod on Twitter and at Fourth Down Fiasco on Instagram and TikTok. So with that, let's dive into our first segment, which starts off with a little bit of UFL talk. We do want to shout out the Birmingham Stallions for being back-to-back champions.
And the first UFL champions.
Yeah, we weren't surprised.
No, they kind of steamrolled everybody.
So is Birmingham a football city now? Is that a thing?
It always has been. Since the Spring League came out, Birmingham has been bumping.
Look, all I know is there's got to be some sort of a change, or people are going to stop watching the UFL, because if you know who's going to win, it's not that much fun. You know, you need parity,
Yeah.
especially in football.
Oh, yeah. Why do you think people stopped watching Tom Brady?
Yeah, or actively started cheering against him.
Yeah.
Guilty. But yeah, I know we don't really cover UFL a ton on this pod. Anything y'all want to add? I mean, it was pretty decisive from the jump, 25-0.
It was just good. They won. That was about it.
Yeehaw.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see next year if it does get a little bit more competitive. I don't think they plan on adding any more teams, so I'm assuming it's still going to stick with those 8.
It's going to be pretty gross next year.
So,
And as far as I know, I know that the Cowboys worked out multiple UFL guys after the championship game, or invited multiple to come in. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of talent go away from Birmingham, specifically because they're all going to be trying to get an NFL spot.
Yeah, I saw a graphic. There was, I think, 8 or 10 people that got released to their contract after the championship game. Not strictly from Birmingham, but throughout the UFL. And 4 have been signed to contracts already. Something
Yeah,
like that?
the Cowboys signed a linebacker from one of the teams. I don't remember who it was, but he was on their equivalent of the UFL's first all defensive team or
all
something
team,
like
all defensive team.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, the product that the UFL can produce within the NFL.
but you're also not going to get a lot of parity when there's that few of teams. I mean, you look at like hockey, and it's like, why do the Montreal Canadiens have like 23 cups and the next highest is 7? Well, because there was 8 teams for about 20 years.
It's like the Boston Celtics.
Why do the Celtics and the Lakers have 18 and 17? The next highest is the Warriors with 7. Well, because there was 8 teams and the Celtics and Lakers just traded back and forth.
Yeah, Yankees with 27 or something like that.
Yeah, back whenever guys were drinking beer and smoking cigarettes while they were pitching.
Yeah, They traded Babe Ruth for a pack of cigarettes.
So
Yeah. No,
the
yeah.
only reason the NFL doesn't have that is because we separate it Super Bowl era and pre-Super Bowl era. Because I think the Browns would have like 8 or something stupid.
Yeah.
Because they won a bunch when it was pre-Super Bowl. So I don't
And
know.
then they
Maybe
haven't won anything since.
the UFL sticks around for 20 years. We're going to be sitting there and being like, well, why did the Stallions have 10? And it's like, well, there was only 8 teams.
For a really long time. Yeah.
That's true.
No, that's a great point. But a league that has a little bit more parity because they have more teams. Now diving into the stuff that I think most of our listeners actually tune in for. It's nice that we have a niche, the number one talked about ELF podcast out there. Let's dive into some week 4 stuff. Danny, you want to run down those scores real quick for us?
Yeah, I could do that. Fire get back on track after being down 14-0 to the Musketeers, winning 19-14. The Bravos all aboard the Dwayne train, 35-24 against the Centurions.
Choo-choo!
The Vikings come storming back, beating the Berlin Thunder in the final minutes 25-20. Carl Aiken Jr. tried everything he could to defeat the Barcelona Dragons, but the Dragons withheld 2 late field goal attempts to win 14-12. The Galaxy beat the falling fast Panthers 20-10. The Surge just surged past the Seamen. It wasn't even a game, 55-9. One of the games, probably the best game of the week. The Raiders win with 12 seconds left against the Munich Ravens and their rookie elf quarterback, 29-26.
Truth.
N'Kosi Perry looked good. And the Sea Devils won a game against the Lions, which was uneventful to say the least, 27-17.
A little bit more competitive than it probably should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lions were almost up 10-0 at halftime, but they scored right at the end.
So, no, yeah, I mean, overall, though, I thought that this week had some great games overall.
Almost every single game was good.
Yeah, for the most part. So I'm very happy with how it all shook out.
Every team enjoyed a good game except for the Seamen.
Oh, poor Seamen.
At least the Surge finished,
Yeah.
Oof.
Those will never get old.
No, it won't. It won't ever.
But yeah, I mean, if we want to dive into Ryan versus Parrish real quick, I think personally my big takeaway, and we've talked a lot of good things about this individual on this podcast, so I don't want it to just be let's shit on this guy, but I think Zach Edwards lost him the game.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't take care of the ball.
They were winning and they got outscored in this. They did not do anything in the second half whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, 2 picks, and then he also had a fumble too. And that, I believe, if I remember correctly, that fumble was right before halftime, and they were in field goal range. The Fire had just scored on that drive, whatever, which gave them a lot of momentum. And yeah, Paris was, I want to say, on like the 30, 35-ish, definitely a makeable field goal, depending on who your kicker is in this league.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about Paris's kicker, but yeah, he ends up, instead of taking the sack, tried to throw it while he's almost like facing upwards like this. It just falls out of his hand while he's just trying to throw it upwards, and it gets recovered. And then, the Fire's able to, basically kill the clock for the rest of the half, going to halftime, right on their heels. And that really killed momentum.
Yeah. Paris, looking at it, does have a decent field goal kicker.
Okay.
2 for 2 on the year, 8 of 11 for PATs. So above league average.
Yeah. Still, definitely you definitely don't want to just give the other team possession in that situation. You at least want to give them a chance going in to have to kill, because I mean, that was a huge touchdown Ryan scored. And you get a field goal, all of a sudden that momentum kind of dwindles down a little bit.
Yeah. Tanner, your opinion?
No, I mean, I agree. It makes sense why you would really want that field goal in that position too, because Paris went scoreless in the second half. It's a strange call to not try to form any momentum there, try to get some sort of points on the board. But I mean, it was really just two dominant defenses going against each other. I mean, these are probably top 3 units, both of these teams. I mean, from what we've seen through the season so far, well, Stuttgart's got a really good defense too, so maybe.
And Vienna, but they're top 4. You know, they're definitely well above the rest of the league. These two defenses.
Yeah, so that's really what it came down to, and a lot of it was Ryan was able to pull away from it because Tunga kind of put the team on his back.
Tunga's a monster.
Over 250 total yards, 2 tuds.
Oh
man,
he's on pace for like almost 1,700 rushing yards in 12 games.
Jeez. Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm looking at this 31 attempts for 206 and a touchdown. And then, he did have, I thought he had a receiving touchdown. I guess he didn't, but it's still 3 receptions, 52 yards. Like, dude, that is a monstrous day.
Yeah. And it fallen off last week's too. Absurd. But like Jadrian Clark didn't have a good game. 111 total yards, 12 of 23, a touchdown, a pick. It's like he didn't play well. Tunga just carried the fire to victory.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, I did notice it felt like Paris's they could not stop the run to save their life.
Oh, not at all.
But man, they were getting some pressure on Clark though.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's same with what Ryan was doing with Edwards. They were just right on their hip entire game.
Yeah. I kind of want to say Paris lost the game themselves. Like they should have just stomped out the fire. Pun intended.
Yeah. You go up 14-0, and I mean they were up 14-0. Like just
I think it was 14-0 at least.
What was it was 14-0. Or no, it was 14-3. You're right. It was 14-3. But yeah, you go up 14-3, and they got up kind of early in that second quarter, 14-3. And at that point, you've got to figure out a way to pull out that game. You're up by 11. Like, just be smart with the ball, which was again my big takeaway. Be smart with the ball, and you should be fine. Should
is the key word there.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see though, because this is the second game in a row where Clark didn't look that good, and again, it's because they're top defenses he had to play against the Bravos and Paris, but it is alarming.
He is missing his wide receiver 1 still, and I think they might be missing their 2 as well, because they just had a signing. I don't know who exactly their 2 is, since we're still learning every single player in this league.
Yeah.
But yeah, Clark without McKnight Jr. does not look like the Clark that can put up 534 yards a game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But it is also beneficial whenever your running back could. I mean, Tunga right now is making an MVP case for himself.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes you don't have to be Superman. Sometimes you can just, as long as you don't hurt the team, if you have the right guys, I think you're fine. So yeah, if Tunga, because he had a monstrous week last week too, man. If he keeps this up, I mean, he's definitely up there in those discussions.
No, yeah. Right now, like just off the top of my head, Tunga and Jacob Sullivan, the Berlin Thunder quarterback, who's the only one to surpass 1,000 yards already through 4 weeks.
He hasn't thrown a pick yet, has he?
Sullivan?
Yeah.
I think so.
Or did he throw one against y'all?
I think he's thrown some, but I can look it up real quick. He's had to have thrown them. If not, congrats.
Well, there's one quarterback who hasn't yet, so that's why I was asking.
Riley Hennessy has no picks.
Okay, that's who I'm thinking of then.
Technically, Helbig has none. Technically, John Mangle has none. And Kason Martin has none.
Hey, shout out UNT, baby.
Yeah.
That'll always be my favorite, just random tidbit about the ULF.
But yeah, the Surge, Riley Hennessy does not have a pick on the year, but he does have 10 touchdowns. So that TD to interception ratio is
huge.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Sullivan's stats so far are crazy,
Sullivan's
man.
stats, almost a 60% completion, over 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks. Total QBR is 97.4. Like, oof. But yeah.
Speaking of badass quarterbacks, moving on to the Bravo Centurions game, dude, Duncan had himself a day.
Yeah.
Duncan looked good.
Yeah.
He-
22 of 31 for 300 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Solid day.
I mean, the Bravos are just the whole team is just good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's weird looking at them because I feel like a lot of the teams you see that there's one pretty glaring weakness that they have.
Mhm.
Now I'm not really seeing it with Madrid. And it's so funny because their starting quarterback is out and they just kind of got handed on a silver platter
An even better
a
one.
really good starting quarterback that another team cut, you know? So
how they lucked out is crazy.
yeah, exactly. So it's going to be hard to see this team really drop in games just because their O-line is probably one of the best in the league. Their defensive line is really good. They have, a really great receiver with Patterson. What's his name? Cernuda Cernuda. He's looking pretty good too. Obi's probably one of the top 3 to 5 running backs in the league right now.
I'd give him top 3. I mean, besides Tunga, I really can't even think of anybody who's doing it better than
probably the Panthers dude.
The Panthers
Oh,
dude
yeah.
and the Vikings running back
They're
are
both really good.
Yeah. The league leaders for rushing is Tunga Brzezowski, the Panthers guy, Pajarine from the Vikings, Amelin from the Centurions, and then Obi.
Well, I guess Amelin did have
He had
a big run. But 3 through 5 are all within 20 yards. Yeah. So, like, Amelin shouldn't have been up there with that 85-yard touchdown. I mean, he had the 85-yard touchdown, but
I feel like Tunga's a little bit more, or not Tunga. I mean, Tunga's also more of a dual threat, yes, but I would say that Obi's probably more of a dual threat than Amelin as well, or Ameln, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, there was like 2 broken plays this game alone where Amelin just got huge.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say if I were to pin any type of a weakness on Madrid, it would probably be rush defense. Because I mean, I remember that was like the only like semi-positive thing of whenever we played y'all was our guys had decent days on the ground. And so I'm not saying that it's like a glaring weakness by any stretch, but I did give up 168 yards to ML today. So. Yeah. And also an additional 59 to the quarterback, Weed, your favorite.
Weed, baby.
That's the thing, too, is Madrid is also making pretty much every quarterback who plays against them look terrible.
That is correct, yes.
Weed did not look good. His stats make it look a little less worse than it did, but I mean, still only 50% completion and 1 touchdown to 2 picks. He just wasn't able to get anything going against the defense. And Cologne did make the game close, so I can see why a lot of people are like, oh, well, it was a 1-score game there for a little bit, so, Cologne might be a little bit better than we think they are. But it felt more of like Madrid took their foot off the gas and kind of let Cologne get back into the game, and then they were like, oh, shit, we can't lose the game. And then they put their foot back on the gas and they ran away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the defensive stats right now for Madrid. I mean, my goodness, like the spreading of love on the tackles. I mean, yeah, Araya with 9, Glenna with 9. What is that? Earless with 7, Velasco with 6, Embry with 5. I didn't realize y'all had Embry. Damn, y'all really stacked. Yeah, Embry had a pick for y'all too.
Embry might be leading.
Yeah, I think he's got 3 right now.
Yeah, Embry has 3. But Jordan, to back up your thing about the lack of rush defense or the running defense on the Bravos, they currently rank 10 out of 17. So
Okay. So yeah, again, not glaring weakness by any stretch, but bottom half.
bottom half, and then they're top 5 in pass defense at 5.
Yeah, they are. Oh man. But yeah, no, I mean, again, I'm with you, Tanner. I think that y'all took your foot off the gas, but it was still a fun game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cologne still put up a fight. It wasn't like whenever y'all faced us.
Yeah. Cologne's not going to compete against the top teams.
No.
They'll always kind of be like there.
Yeah,
But
they're definitely more of a middle of the pack type of team.
Bottom middle-ish.
Yeah. Now, a team who should have kept their foot on the gas and didn't, and ended up losing, Berlin Thunder.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a game. Danny, I really thought your Vikings were going to lose, brother.
I did too. Epler had some interesting throws there. He got lucky in the first quarter when the linebacker just dropped the pass in the end zone.
Yeah, I was about to say hit him right in the face.
Right in the numbers. He had two hands on the ball. Like he was running the route and just dropped it. But I think after halftime, I don't know what Coach Kaleke said to him, but he looked much better in the second half. Much calmer. And his throws, especially that last touchdown, oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, finished the day with 308, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. And both new Austrian quarterbacks had some very nice passes this week. But I just love our rushing stats. It's literally just our running back and our quarterback. Like that's it.
Yeah.
But we do have, I will say, let me pull it up real quick. We have quite a few injuries for the Vikings themselves, which might be a little detrimental to our defense and definitely our receiving core because the good old Italian shoulder surgery out indefinitely.
That's tough.
But they did announce today that they are re-signing the 2022 championship game MVP. Another finish. So that makes 4 Finland players on our team. But our tight end Beer Bomber from the NFL IPP program is out a couple weeks. Leon Below, who is in top 5 in sacks, is hurt, but it might not be super serious. Thomas Schaffer from Stanford, his shoulder is a little banged up. Maxi Muehlner was also injured during the game and was ruled out, so I don't know if he'll play this week. Mm-hmm. And Ben Holmes is apparently ready to return when eligible, maybe after next week.
Sorry, I was just going to say, fuck you, Eckler, and just move on.
The head coach, Chris Kaleke, came out in the beginning. He said, we are rolling with Holmes when he's healthy. Epler knows he's here just to fill in the role. He's like, it is a plug and play. They're almost identical quarterbacks, but Ben Holmes is our guy. So Epler knew that coming in. I don't think it's a shock to anyone. You scouted Ben Holmes from the beginning, and just because he gets hurt, you're not going to dump him.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say y'all are at least fortunate that even with these injuries, as long as they're not, like season ending, y'all are playing Prague next week. So even if y'all are a little banged up, y'all going to be just fine. As long as your offensive line and your quarterback are healthy, you're going to be A-okay, brother.
Yeah, I'm not worried next week. I'm glad it's not a bye week. That sounds rude to say, but I'm glad it's kind of a bye week.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as close as you're going to get without actually being off for the day. So
no, I say that now, but watch, we're going to
lose. That would be crazy.
Dude, oh man, that would be so funny.
But I will say at least Terlitza stepped up in the absence of our banged up defense. 11 tackles, 3.5 sacks.
Oh yeah, no, he was huge for y'all. He had one late in the fourth at some point.
That was like 3rd and 10 or whatever in the final drive or something.
Yeah, for Berlin trying to basically like pull ahead too far for y'all to get the ball back and score. He had a huge sack on that 3rd and 10.
No, yeah. One of my favorite stats is that our linebackers are kickoff kicker. I don't know why, that just makes me laugh every time I see it.
Is that a stat or is that a fact?
He has 325 kickoff yards, so
That's a stat.
5 attempts, 325 total yards. Hey, good job for a linebacker.
Cool.
But one thing that I was worried about going into this week was Action Jackson, the kickoff return master.
Mm-hmm.
Held him to 41 yards on 5 returns.
That's impressive.
It might be not right, but that's what it says online.
Yeah,
he still did have a very good day receiving, though. 126 and a touchdown.
He's the current receiving leader in the league.
He is, and then it helps to have the leading passer as well on your team.
Yep.
But Aaron Jackson is just good. He looks good.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
But, yeah, Thunder should have kept it on us. But
yeah. They were missing their Thunder buddies.
They
didn't call Ted.
That's true. But the captain of the Vikings did a post-game interview when he was still hyped up on adrenaline, and he was just yelling the whole time in German about you have to play 4 quarters through us. You can't play 3. You can't play 2. You have to play all 4 quarters. It's like,
oh yeah, I didn't understand a word he was saying, but I wanted to run through a brick wall, like you said.
Yeah,
I was ready. Line me up, coach. Put me out there. Let me hit somebody.
Yeah, but it was a good game. The defense stepped up when it needed to. Didn't let Thunder score at all in the fourth quarter. So,
yep. Another.
Like I said, you guys mostly covered it. I mean, Berlin definitely has a great offense. They're one of the top offenses in the league, but I don't think they're one of the top teams in the league.
They are the number 1 passing offense, number 10 rushing offense, and that showed because they had 39 rushing yards.
Yep.
What are they? Can you see their defensive stats, Danny?
Averaged their overall 12th, 11 and 13, 11 rush, 13 pass.
Okay, so
12 in points.
So you've got an above average offense, but a below average defense. That's gonna put you right in the middle of the pack, which is about where they're at. So
this shocked me. The Vikings, the rushing were ranked 5th in rushing, but we're ranked 2nd in passing.
That doesn't surprise me.
Our offense has not been very good. We haven't been scoring a bunch. I think we put 40 once, or was that like 39 or whatever. But we have the number 2 overall offense. We're 5th in points. Our rush defense is 3 and our pass defense is 9, which gives us apparently the 5th best defense, which I don't agree with. But
part of it is also things get a little weird at the beginning of the season when buys happen.
Yeah.
And Vienna hasn't had a bye yet, so I think probably your offensive stats are, a little inflated. Yeah, because I think most teams have had a bye, but you guys haven't. I'm not sure who else hasn't yet.
Half the league has had a bye.
Yeah.
8 teams have had a bye. But yeah, that includes Paris, Madrid, Frankfurt, Stuttgart. Those are the big 4 teams that will probably overtake, especially Stuttgart. How they're not up there, yeah.
Well, Madrid's got a bye this week too. So they have both of their buys already done, which is pretty bad.
Yeah. But yeah, Madrid and Stuttgart are both sitting at around 1380 and 1350 for total yards, while Vienna is sitting at 1480. So yeah, they're 100 total yards behind us in 1 week. But yeah, good game. Turned into a night game at the end, which was fun. Well, let's talk about our boy Carl Aiken Jr. and your barometer.
Man, get that brother a lineman ASAP.
He needs something. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, run for his life out there.
Now that he's friend of the pod, it just breaks my heart, man.
It's brutal.
Yeah, because here's the thing: our defense is not nice like that. That's the sad part. Is like our defense is not nice like that, and we were, just hitting the shit out of him on every play.
You have the worst defense.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not after this game. We might have the second worst defense after this.
Your rushing is 17th and your passing is 15th.
Ooh.
Wow. Our rush, our rush defense is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
The problem is, we, except for this past game, we don't get pressure on anybody. We can't get past the line of scrimmage to save our lives. And so I don't care how good your DBs are, but if you've got to cover somebody for longer than 3 seconds, it's hard to do that. And so I think it also really affects that too. But yeah, our defensive line is sorry.
Yeah. And I feel bad for Aiken because he has literally a half a second. He gets the ball and has to start rolling out right away.
We had 5 sacks.
And that's unofficial.
Huh?
That's unofficial, but at least 5.
Oh yeah,
sacks.
unofficial.
No,
but yeah,
at least.
Yeah. And that, and we're not even talking about like QB hits and other things. Cause there were multiple times where Aiken stepped up into the pocket and still got drilled.
Oh yeah, there was a lot.
So is this right because I didn't watch this full game. Did the Helvetic kicker miss both extra points and 3 field goals?
I saw 2 missed field. One was blocked. One field goal was blocked.
Yeah, one was.
But it was a very slow field goal.
Okay.
Like they snapped it and he hesitated. But they missed 2, one blocked and one missed in the second half of the fourth quarter. Like they should have
he
won
missed
this
both
game.
extra points as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
this was a very unlucky game for Helvetic. Honestly, they were, in my opinion, they were still the better team, even with how much Aiken was getting hit.
yeah, stats show it. Aiken 15 of 28, 172. He led the league team in rushing, 18 of 86, compared to Levi Lewis, who had 10 of 19 for 89, in a most insane pick I've seen recently. Off the back of a dude's helmet, popped straight back up to his teammate.
Sucked. Yeah, that was a very Dak Prescott-esque interception where I saw it happen. I was like, really?
It was underthrown by 10 yards.
Yeah, by 5. I wouldn't say
5.
10.
Yeah, not 10.
It still hit his own guy.
No, it hit the Mercenaries' defensive back.
Did it?
Yeah, the wide receiver was probably 3 yards in front of the Mercenaries DB, and it hit the DB in the back of his helmet and just popped straight up.
But yeah, Levi also, that's another brother that needs some offensive linemen ASAP, because I know that he has, I believe it's 4 interceptions on the year, but I haven't seen any interception that he has thrown where he isn't on the run and running for his life. It's not that he's necessarily making bad decisions. It's that as he's throwing the ball, he's just not able to line up all of his mechanics to be able to make an accurate pass. And it's because he's got half a second before he's getting hit.
Yeah. But if you just showed me this box score of this game, just that team stats thing, I'd say Mercenaries won by 3-6, and that's what it should have been. But because they almost double the yards. It's
and 8 more first downs than we had. Yeah.
But the only thing going for the Mercenaries currently is they have new owners.
Woo-woo.
Who should bring in a bunch of money, hopefully. And hopefully they'll sign some players from the other Swiss leagues to bring in O-linemen.
Something that I'm starting to recognize from at least the couple of games that we have watched, I think that at least, and y'all might feel differently, but I feel like I put too much stock into an A import being needed to be a running back or a wide receiver. And the past couple of games have shown me that your A imports should be all offensive and defensive linemen, or, a quarterback, obviously. But, if you can be smart like some teams and get a guy who maybe they were born on a military base in a different country, then you're set,
You can find a little loophole.
Yeah, but yeah, your A imports need to be on that offensive line, 1,000%, because I'm looking at these two teams and I'm like, I think that both of these teams would be significantly better if they,
with a left tackle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a center that doesn't get bulldozed over as soon as they hike the ball, and
Barcelona kind of got screwed. Look at Madrid's O-line versus Barcelona's O-line.
Yeah. that doesn't help. But I'm thinking about I've seen plenty of good running backs across this league that are all European, and I think the best, all of them are European out of the best ones.
Technically, Tunga's British, which is
European.
Brexit.
Yeah, what continent are they on though, Chief?
They are European. Yeah. Are they a part of the EU? Yes.
No, they're not a part of the EU.
Brexit
left. They dipped.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Never mind.
They're on the European continent, not in the EU.
Oh, well, that's their loss. I don't know what they're doing with that one. I don't know what's going on.
There's Matt was saying that there's a bunch of political stuff hindering the London Monarchs.
Well, I've also been hearing that there's been some very how would I put this, because I need to tread carefully here, some much more extremist groups that are winning elections right now in Europe.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. That's how I'm going to put it. I'm not going to label it any other way than that. Just some very angry individuals, very fear-mongering individuals.
But I just want the relaunch of the London Monarchs. That's all I really care about.
You're like, politics are fine as long as nobody blows up a country. We just want to see some football.
I need Tunga to run for his home team. Like, come on. Think of the parity level, like the leveling of teams. If Tunga did leave the Fire to go play in homegrown.
Well, Obi's also British, I think, as well. Right?
The running backs on the Monarchs would be crazy.
From the UK.
Do we know if those two have a rugby background? Like, how did they become running backs?
No clue, but I want to see Obi and Tunga on a team together.
What's it called? Don't the English kind of like American football? Isn't there a big English following?
I mean, I guess because of the amount of games the NFL plays there.
Yeah.
But so the point that I was making though is I feel like you can get more of these, more of your homegrown guys and even imports just as a whole to be more than capable wide receivers and running backs, because really all you need is elite athleticism, and you can find that just to find that. Whereas there's a lot more technicality that goes into being an offensive lineman, and you have to be both smart, strong, fast, to be a successful lineman. You have to be all those things, and that's a lot harder to come by.
I don't know if I'd use an A import on an O line, because having a true wide receiver one, there are a couple outliers, and we'll get to them with the surge. But having a true wide receiver one from America seems to really help your team. Aaron Jackson.
So does having an offensive line that can give you longer than 1.5
But that's what you
seconds.
use your E imports for. Use 2 to 3 of your E imports on your O line, especially if you're from a country that doesn't have a good set of O line. Hence, Switzerland.
Since the E imports can count for Pacific Islands, dude, man, I would be all up in Samoa and Tonga right now, recruiting. Be like, hey,
I'm sure he counts as an E import.
Bye, Tanner. But yes, every other country except for America counts as an E import.
Wow, I've got sent to the Shadow Realm.
You said they're like, no. But I finished your thought. Every other country except for America counts as an E import.
Oh yeah, why are we not recruiting dudes from Samoa and
I'm going to every Pacific Island nation that there is.
This is why we need our own team. Alex, hit us up. Elfpedia, hit us up.
Let's all just put $1,000 in the pot and go buy a team.
The Eagles don't they have 2 New Zealand rugby players that played on their offensive line? They had Samalu and they had Malata.
Why do you think the tush push is so good?
Yeah. That is a different kind of strength and athleticism.
I do think though an issue with that, I think with budgets, only the Panthers could really afford to be like, hey, you want to go scout these guys and dump a bunch of money into it?
Oh, brother, what you mean? I would expense that shit on my taxes. What are we doing?
For the team to be like, hey, scout, go to the Pacific Islands and go scout players for a month.
Yeah, but we would be owning the team from America. Our
No, but I'm
LLC
saying
would still
currently.
be in the States.
No, not us,
Currently.
Jordan. The owners.
No,
Owners.
but I'm saying that's not a problem because once we have a team, that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go fly out to Samoa and to Tonga and to everywhere else that I can find and be like, hey, do y'all like to hit people?
I think if you're an owner of a team, the cost to ship people out to the Pacific Islands shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, you can I know the flight costs are kind of expensive, but I don't know, just get them a Motel 6 or something there and let them fucking.
But that's my only reasoning on why they aren't doing it. I bet Alex and Matt know much more than we do.
A lot more than we do, yeah.
But Alex has talked about those Australian O linemen about to come into the NFL in the next 5-10 years. Get them started in the ELF.
Yes, this could be the developmental league.
I don't think the ELF wants to be called a developmental league.
Well, specifically for linemen. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. I do agree with Jordan, though. I think if you are taking 4A imports, one of them has at least have to be on the O-line, whether that's your tackle or your center.
It sucks, though, that you can only have 2 on the field at one time.
Oh, that really does hinder things.
So that's why there's always 2 defense, 2 offense.
Gotcha.
So you can't have all 4 on the offense.
Because imagine
that's
what I would
imagine how overpowered an offense would be if you just had 2 American offensive tackles, a QB, and a wide receiver.
Well, that's what I would do.
Yeah, everyone would do that.
But hey, ratings would be through the roof.
That's true. Or
offense sells. Defense wins championships, but offense sells.
Imagine just going opposite all defense. 2 D-line and 2 safeties. Good luck. Kyle Kitchens is already running the league, and he's American. And the leading linebacker, the leading tackler in the league is American. AJ Wetland from the Panthers. He has 67 tackles. The next closest is 42.
Well, we got off on a huge side tangent. Since you mentioned Panthers, do we want to dive into Panthers now?
That works out perfectly.
Cool.
Let's talk about AJ Wentland. 16 tackles in just this game.
Really was doing it by himself. Don't get me wrong. Other guys were hitting folks and stuff, but if you want to talk about a one-man performance, sheesh.
AJ Wentland,
man.
But the Galaxy defense was all over there too. 13 with a half a sack, 12 with no sacks, 11, 1.5 sacks, 8, 7. Whew.
Oh, yeah. No, Frankfurt's defense was just – I hate using the term swallowing. I'm glad we're not talking about the Seamen right now. But truly, they were just swallowing the Panthers' offense. They just couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything.
I will say this was a really shitty game. It was 6-0 at halftime, 7-6 at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this was out of the games that we did have, this was probably my least favorite.
Yeah. Zaradka, though, still had a good game. 16-31, 234, 3 touchdowns, and a pick that I think he threw in the end zone.
Is he a homegrown quarterback?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that's okay.
Yeah, it's an Eastern European last name. Sure.
Yeah. I was like, am I allowed to say it? Tanner, you can say it. It's fine.
Yeah.
His nationality is American. He's 32.
That's the way it goes. I got a Slavic last name, and I'm American, so.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, I always feel so bad because I'm always the one who tries to pronounce his last name. Brzezowski. He did well. He had himself a day. 25 attempts, 117 yards, no touchdowns though. So they were able to keep him out of the end zone. I feel like Frankfurt did a really good job of keeping him in front of them, if you know what I mean. They were okay with him getting the 5 to 6 yard gain, but they were like, no, you're not busting it off for 45 and a tut. That's not happening today.
I want to hear something really sad. Every team has kept him in front of them. He has 431 total yards, 0 touchdowns.
Really? I thought. Yeah. Does he have a receiving touchdown then? Because
he probably has a receiving touchdown.
I feel like I've seen him get into the end zone.
Rushing, 0 rushing touchdowns.
Damn.
Yeah, he's the second leading rusher with no touchdowns. Who was that? What NFL team did that before? It was like he was their leading rusher, but whenever they got to it was the Lions, wasn't it? Like they'd get to the 1 yard line and then give it to their other running back.
I couldn't tell you.
It happened this year.
Sorry, what are you?
Or no,
My
it was
brain had
the
an
Saints.
aneurysm.
The Saints this year with Jamison Williams. He didn't get his last touchdown or his first touchdown until the end of the year.
Yeah, Jamal Williams.
Yeah,
where
Jamal
they,
Williams.
They went into the victory formation, and
That was funny. Something that I will say about Vroslav at this point is, I mean, they are. I feel like the door to the playoffs is almost shut for them now.
Oh, it is shut.
And
It's not
100%.
almost.
it's unfortunate because this was a game that they not only needed to win, but they honestly should have won. I feel like overall they're a better team than Frankfurt is. They've just, unfortunately had to play Vienna and Stuttgart, both of which were close games. But I feel like they're better than the Galaxy. And yeah, with dropping both of those games to the two teams that I mentioned, you can't drop a third one. They just dropped their third one. So they're Dunskies, basically.
They remind me of the Browns. A lot of mismanagement with a lot of money to spend.
Yeah, because they have the talent on that team. Well, I mean, now that Duncan's gone, maybe not quite as much. But
Uribe wasn't horrible, but he was still running for his life.
Yeah.
The Panthers O-line for whatever reason is just absolute garbage.
I think it's crazy how the Panthers looked like the best offense in the league the first 2 weeks of this year, and now they look like a bottom offense.
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's see what they have them at on here.
it's almost like you should
They're
cut your star quarterback.
just weird. They're still currently ranked 4th, but they've played all their games, so
Well, yeah, it's because those first 2
Yep.
weeks they were putting up points.
they were numbers. But yeah, their defense is ranked 15th total.
Whew, damn, there's almost as
Yeah.
bad as ours.
Yeah,
That sucks.
not good.
Yeah, not good.
Not good.
Now, someone else who's not good, Milano Seaman, got their ass whooped, 9-55.
Yeah, and they played the Surge. I think played their backup quarterback for the entire fourth quarter,
And he still had 3 touchdowns.
and 157 yards on 9 completions.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Heydrich, good job. He almost passed Hennessy, who had 23 completions for 191 and 4 touchdowns. Heydrich almost did it in the fourth quarter himself.
Yeah, dude. Geyer having 9 receptions for 125 and 3 tuds.
That was my outlier because he's German,
3,
and he's their wide receiver 1.
6.
So, if you can get yourself a Geyer on the team who has a hat trick, you don't need an A import for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But if you did,
Yeah, I'm looking at 8 different wide receivers. Granted, Hunter was just 1 reception.
well, they put up all their backups in at the end. So
But I still feel like that ball was moving throughout the game, though.
no, yeah, but half those wide receivers on the receiving were from the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Milano sucks.
Yeah,
Milano
Milano does
sucks.
suck. There's not a whole lot else to say besides that. I mean,
Hey, they won the time of possession
woo
By
freaking who.
by 7 seconds or something like that.
I think
Hang
hasn't
the
that
banner.
happened every week they've played?
I think they just let up, they give up points so fast that they just have the ball.
I will be very curious about that Barcelona Seaman game next week.
It's gonna be so good.
It's going to be an ugly game. But yeah, I mean, is there really anything else that we need to say about this game? This was the one that we knew going into it was going to be a monumental beatdown, and it was exactly as we thought it would be. So, anything else?
Yep. No, I think that's all we got.
Okay. Tirol, Munich. This was the game of the week.
This was a great game.
Man, Nkosi Perry got that dog in him, bro. I mean, I already knew that because I've seen him torch my UNT Mean Green before, but he got that dog in him.
But I'm 4 days in to a new team and they're running no huddle offense on the first drive of the game. Who's crazy?
Yeah.
That is absurd.
That is awesome.
That's terrifying.
Dude, I wish Barcelona would do some shit like that. It is so vanilla for Barcelona, and seeing the way that Tirol I saw so much motion, play action, it is helpful whenever you have an athlete like Perry, at quarterback that,
He was escaping a lot.
Yeah. And his rushing numbers don't really reflect it because there were a couple of times where it was more so he was escaping a sack and would get like a yard instead of getting sacked.
There was one play I saw. He fumbled the snap and it bounced like 10 yards back or something like that. And
oh yeah,
he didn't decide to roll out. He didn't decide to fall on it. He didn't decide to do something stupid. All he did was pick the ball back up and dive towards the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being a 10-yard loss, I think it was like a 1-yard loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just smart.
No, yeah, he was on his shit. That last drive was incredible.
To Tanner?
Yeah, so this is where I'll jump in.
Yeah,
it's
only because you said that.
Yeah, I don't know what they were smoking on the final set of downs they had, but they ran the ball on first down with like a minute left. They immediately call a timeout, and they got a yard or two or something. Then on second down, they decide to run it again. They're out of timeouts, so then they rush back to the line of scrimmage, spike the ball on third down to stop the clock with 14, 15 seconds left.
14
and then it's like a 4th and 12, and somehow they still manages to get the touchdown. So it was like terrible clock mismanagement and terrible play calls, but the overwhelming talent just kind of prevailed anyways.
Yeah.
What's his name? Darius Schaffen?
Yeah.
Chafin had himself a freaking day.
Mm-hmm.
And he must have sat with Perry and just
they got to figure it out.
The 4 days, just boom, boom, boom. Because he went to him obviously 7 times, but any big moment on that last drive was Chafin.
Yeah. Chafin with 7 receptions, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also on the rushing side, Benatti had a really good game too. 16 attempts, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was breaking off some big ones.
Yeah. But
when we were talking about it last week, we were right though, where these teams are pretty neck and neck on talent wise. We were like, and we're gonna put one over the other because we think they're gonna win, but they're really not that much better than the other. And so I think Munich and Tirol really are fitted at the same spot with how competitive this game was.
Tirol had to convert 3 4th down conversions on the final drive of the game just to win.
That's crazy.
Any one of those 3 plays, Munich could have stopped and game's over.
Mm-hmm. Now, I am curious kind of as the season progresses, though, and Perry gets more than 4 days to be on the team. How I am curious just where this offense can go, because we saw flashes of it today, and then obviously we saw some boneheaded stuff too, where it's like, dude, why would you do that? But I think a lot of that comes down to the timing's still not there yet. They don't really know which play calls are their strengths versus their weaknesses with the new quarterback in there. Because, there are definitely those go-to plays that everybody has where it's like, oh yeah, every time we run this play, we get 30 yards, but we just can't play it every play.
No, yeah.
And so I am curious just to, let's revisit the discussion about Tirol and Munich being on the same level here in 2-3 weeks once Perry's had a little bit more time.
Perry, I will say, going off his little boneheaded things, his one pick was pretty idiotic.
Yeah.
He jumped pass off the back foot into double, triple coverage, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was way short.
And his little, was it the second 4th down conversion? The one where Chafin had that amazing jumping grab falling backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Not a horrible throw, not the best.
He definitely still got bailed out a little bit on that.
Darius Chafin, or I think his name's Darius. I don't know.
It's either
Shaven.
Darius or Darian. But yeah.
D Shaven. What a grab.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I saw a thing. It was like we're a quarter of the way or a third of the way through the season through 4 weeks. So we can revisit this in 4 weeks' time and
yeah, let's do that.
back up.
We'll bring it back in 4 weeks' time.
Or are they in the same conference? Do they play each other again?
I don't know.
They will play each other again. What week though? Week 14.
Ooh, so there might be some stuff on the line.
That could be.
There might be some stuff on the line.
That will be interesting.
Meow.
Yep. But on that one, let's hop to the game
I was
that
going to say,
no one really
since I'm
cared
meow,
about.
let's talk about the Prague Kitty Cats
Ram.
and the Hamburg Sea Devils.
Lyles had 75 yards for 6 completions.
Yeah, not a good day. Honestly, I mean, this game shouldn't have been as close as it was, but it was, which is hilarious.
The Lions were winning 10-0 with 6 seconds left before halftime. Not even 6 seconds, 3 seconds left before halftime.
I mean, yeah, just whenever you like, I'm looking at this box score now, and yeah, Lyle 6 completions, 75 yards versus Smith for Hamburg, 29 completions, 372 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You know, and neither one of them really had anything going on in the rushing game.
Smith had all their touchdowns.
I'm looking at defense as well. You know, you've got who's that? Keshenrow.
Sure.
Keshenrow with 2.5 sacks. You know, Ugapo had a sack as well, and looks like on the Lions. Oh, actually, Brooks had 2 sacks. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I guess just the difference in quarterback play, though, you would think that this would have been a much bigger beatdown.
Yeah, especially like total plays, 73-47, and yet the Lions were leading going into the fourth quarter.
Dude, Prague had 5 first downs. 5.
And they were leading at the end of the third quarter.
Hamburg had 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those like weird variance games for sure.
I didn't watch this full game, but it was probably very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know that Hamburg also had a really costly fumble whenever they were like in scoring territory, and so you know, is what it is. But this definitely, in my brain, knocked. I mean, Hamburg was still in the middle of the pack in my rankings, but definitely pushed them lower in the middle of the pack after this game.
Somehow they have a 2-1 record, and they're better than the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Well, because both of their wins are against Prague. They've beaten Prague twice now. This one was an ugly one.
That's like saying, "Oh, Barcelona's 2-2." Yeah, 2 of our wins came against the Mercenaries. So
both of their games were won only by 10 points, 31-21, and then
bro. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on Hamburg. They might be in the bottom tier. They might just be just a hair above all the bottom tier teams.
And then they got absolutely destroyed, 41-14.
Yeah,
there
is no Kool-Aid to drink with them.
No, they're just bad.
Yeah, they're
so
really
sad.
bad.
They were so good. I think Jadrian Clark played for them in 2021. Actually,
that's probably
who's now the Fire quarterback.
Yeah.
But
well, cool.
You have Hamburg over your little Barcelona Dragons.
I do have Hamburg over my Barcelona.
We all do.
But yeah, any other comments about the Hamburg Prague game other than it being close? We saw this coming.
It was just bad.
So, well, cool. Then since we have nothing else to add, let's go ahead and kick it to commercial break. And then whenever we come back, we will go through our pick'ems. And we also do have some news. So there were some signings this past week that are definitely going to shake up how the league looks right after this.
You're the proud owner of a business, and you've got it all. The hustle, the bustle, and the occasional office kitchen mishap that turns into an alarm-triggering emergency.
Oh!
But fear not. Western States Fire Protection is here to turn your workplace into a disaster-free zone. Our in-house team handles everything from fire sprinklers to alarms, monitoring, inspections, extinguishers, and more. Visit WSFP.com to request a quote.
Are you looking for a podcast to advertise your business? Well, you're in luck. Here at the Fourth Down Fiasco, we're looking for show sponsors. Whether you want to be a platinum sponsor and be mentioned at the beginning and end of every episode, or you just want a simple 30 or 60-second ad, we got you covered. If you're interested in having a spot on our show, you can reach us at fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. That's fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. We are excited to hear from you and even more excited to have you on the show. Join the Fiasco family now.
And welcome back to the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football. And yes, we are the most talked about ELF podcast of 2024. So shout out to that. And for that, you should give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts because it helps us grow the show. So then more people over in Europe can talk about us, which is kind of cool. So diving into some league-wide news, Danny, you have some names of some new signees for some different teams that might shake up some stuff. What you got for us?
So the Enthroners decided to have a massive shakeup after a horrible start to the season.
They needed it.
Yeah, we talked last week that they should relegate themselves, but so they said goodbye to one of their wide receivers, Samuel Bowenjong. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
RIP.
Put on injury reserve, end of season injury for another wide receiver, Attila. Placed on IR, defensive line, Orlovicicus. And then so they decided to sign linebacker Ezra Forbes, O-line Samuel Orji, who was in the
Samuel
NFL.
What?
Orji, O-R-J-I.
Orgy. Yes, not orgy. Orgy.
Okay.
This is not the semen. Calm down, sir.
But I believe he played in the NFL or participated in the IPP program.
Yeah, he was.
And then D-line, Angie Michael Milan. So the Enthroners are trying to shake something up. However, they have still not signed a quarterback after Mangle got hurt. And I don't think he's coming back this week. So I don't know.
I hope they throw a homegrown dude in. I want
They
to see
did last week,
Hungary.
and it did not work.
Oh, really? I didn't
Or-
watch the Enthroners last week.
They didn't play. They had a bye week.
The week before that, maybe?
Let's look real quick. Enthroners. Yeah. Hedgeadus, 18 of 29, 1 of 5. That's it. Lost 43-3.
Wait, I'm was looking up stuff on Orgy. God. They don't make it easy for us Americans, do they?
No.
When we have the maturity of a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
You said he was a linebacker, but I'm only seeing a quarterback with that last name.
O-line? Who? Who?
The guy that they signed, Orgy?
Orsi's offensive line.
Oh.
Ezra Forbes is a linebacker. And then
That's what I saw.
Angie
before.
Michael Milan is DL. So they've yet to sign a new quarterback. Unless
Well, yeah, I
missed
was going to say, though, the only Orgy that I'm seeing was a quarterback. So I was going to see what stats looked like back in like college, or even if I could find anything
No.
from the IPP program. But
No, yeah, I don't know. But and then 2 wide receivers returning to the Elf. The Munich Ravens decided to bring back Malik Stanley, who used to play for the Hamburg Sea Devils, who is a baller, is what I've heard from Alex. And that's really about it. That's all I've seen from him.
Hey, and Alex, we trust, bro.
My life depends on Alex for this Elf. And Matt, yeah. And then the Vikings bring back their championship game MVP. I'm not even going to attempt his last name, but Kimmy, in replace of Jordan Booya, the poor Italian who had shoulder surgery.
Oh, poor Booya.
His last name is Linnain. Linnain.
Can you pronounce that again for me?
M-A-A. I can't. I don't even know what I said. But here,
It was like how Nemo could he kept saying and
literally, and then Linnainmana. Linnainmana.
I'll take a look at that later.
Yeah, I gotta look at it. I
sorry.
can't even like process what you're saying to me right now.
Go to the European.league.football, like the ELF homepage, and it's number 4 on like the current articles.
Okay.
Kimmy something back at Vikings. I am sorry to you for pronouncing your name so bad.
I'm gonna be so mad if this is like an easy name to pronounce.
There's a lot of N's and M's and A's.
Oh, here we go. Kimi Linanamane? Eliminama?
See?
There's
I
some,
wasn't alone.
I'm having to wait for the article to get pulled up.
You can
Hold on.
click through it. You can click on the line.
It's not letting me click right now, so
Oh.
yeah. Here we go. Lenenma.
No.
Lenenma.
You're full of it.
Linema. Yeah, that would make sense.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna Google this shit now and see if I can find.
It probably is Lenenma. I don't know. I suck at names anyways, so
Lenenma pronunciation.
Pronunciations. While you're looking that up, I'm pulling up our pick'ems for next week.
Cool.
And there's only 6 games this week, which is kind of sad. But that's okay.
Oh, I was right.
Wow. That's why you're the host and I'm the stats guy.
Oh, man. See, yeah, just like the intro said, this is why the athletes like to talk to me.
Yeah, and that's why we just ask questions.
Oh, man. It's been a shitty day for you, boy. It was a long day at work. That is my one victory I'm taking home today.
That is fine.
Lenenma. Got it.
Lenenma. We love you. Kimmy Lenenma. Lenenma. I live in an anemone. I am. Wow.
So the
Alrighty then. Let's start off with the toilet bowl.
Bro, come on.
Sorry, toilet bowl V2, because last week was also a toilet bowl for your team.
Okay, what kind of? I just want to know what's going on with your toilet bowl if you're finding semen in them. I have Barcelona for that game, just because it's a home game, and I am very excited to see with just how bad Milano's everything on defense is in comparison to how awful our offense is. It's like the reverse of the immovable object in the unstoppable force. However you would do that.
You guys
it's a
just beat the
movable
number
object
one
versus a stoppable force.
There we go. Yeah, thank you, Tanner.
You guys just beat the number one defense, so technically,
that's
Yeah, they were there.
yeah.
They were in the stadium.
Data wise,
Yeah,
the Mercenaries are the number one defense. But
yeah, I have us. I think it'll be close.
Zach Brockhurst is looking better than the beginning of the year. His little wide receiver is doing a little bit better. So I'm gonna go Barcelona.
You're gonna go.
That was a good bait and switch.
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
Going Barcelona.
Yeah,
I still don't like the semen.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Barcelona.
So-
I have nothing to contribute to the conversation. I just think Milano sucks.
I think this is a very easy week, and we're all gonna have basically the same picks.
Yeah.
So the record of us after week 4 is going to be the same probably after week 5, where I think Tanner's 1 game behind me after his amazing week and my shitty week.
Hey, I made up some ground.
You did make up some ground. You both of you had some good weeks. I just went a little wild card.
I'm stopping with all the spicy picks. I'm saying fuck all of that. I'm trying to catch up to the hot shots.
Because you were sitting at 11-11.
See, this is why y'all are the rising stars of the podcast industry, is because y'all actually know football. Some of us are just good at talking.
That's true. All right. Our boys, Aiken Mercenaries versus your boy Perry's Raiders.
I'm going with the Raiders on it.
No, yeah. Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it's going to be very reminiscent of like when we played Tyrol. I think that I'm hoping that it's not a 63-7 or whatever it was that we got blown out by. That was pretty bad, but I do think that it's going to be I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders dropped 50.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. 1 sec, I'm looking something
Carlton.
up. I thought there was something big about this game coming up because it's so the Nuremberg game is what they're calling it on social media. The Surge versus the Ravens, because they are very close to each other, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I saw something about there being like 16,000 people there, but I could be wrong. That might be for a different game later in the year. But Surge at Munich. Munich brought in their new big boy wide receiver. Tanner, what are you doing?
I'm going to go Surge just because they haven't shown any reason why they wouldn't win this game, right? I mean, they've been pretty consensus top 2 to 3 in the league. And Munich had a really good game against Tyrol, but I mean, I think the Surge are early championship favorites. So
probably. Jordan?
Come back to me.
Oh, he's contemplating life's decisions? I'm going Surge. Like Tanner just said, they're probably the championship favorites right now. Their defense is top 3, and I don't think they're 3. So yeah, I'm going Surge.
Did Surge win it last year?
They lost.
They were runner
up. They were runner up. Okay. But Louis Geyer's looking good, coming off of a hat trick. If you want to go Ravens,
I so badly want to pick the Ravens, but also I'm trying to catch up to y'all.
You might catch up. Maybe the Ravens will surprise. They're at home.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. They're at home and they're desperate right now. Like you're
not going to catch up picking the same picks we have.
Yeah. But also I don't want to lose ground either. To Tanner's point, the Surge have not given us any reason to think that they won't win this game. They have been so dominant against everyone that they've played against and have looked like the best team every time they step onto the field. So, and they don't strike me as a type of team that would have a mental lapse. I'm not saying that because Madrid's still a damn good team. But yeah, I think that if they had shown more weakness as far as their coaching, I might say that maybe Munich could sneak this one out. But yeah, no, I guess I got to go with the Surge. Damn.
All right, Vikings versus the bye week.
Oh.
I mean, sorry, the Prague Lions. Prague Lions, my bad.
Yeah. I mean, Prague's going to win 55-0.
All right. So, Jordan, L. Tanner?
Well, see, this is how I get the game lead on you, Danny, because Prague's winning this, you know? They're not.
No.
They won't.
Vikings for sure.
Vikings all the way.
And it's not going to be close either.
Nope.
No, yeah. All right. Panthers, Ferivar coming off of a bye week.
I'm going to go Ferivar.
All right. Tanner?
I'm not. I'm going to go Panthers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Verifar might have signed some guys.
But not a quarterback.
And Poland looks not as good as they did the first few weeks. But, I mean, this team might still get relegated by the end of the year. Like,
and how funny would it be if their one win
was against the Panthers?
I don't see it.
No, I'm going with the team colors I'm wearing, a little blue and black. I'm going with the Panthers.
I needed to be spicy.
No, yeah, this next game though could be a little spicy. Number one offense.
Rethink about it. You know, you picked Hungary before and it didn't do you any favors.
You picked the wrong game to be spicy about. The next game, the last game of the week, is the one you need to be spicy about. The Fire versus the number one offense, Thunder. MVP leading candidate, Action Jackson versus a struggling Jadrian Clark, but a popping off Tunga. Tanner?
I'm still gonna pick Ryan, just because Berlin hasn't beaten anybody worth
note.
noting.
Yeah.
So even though Berlin has had a great offense, they've lost both games where they played a top team, and they have, they beat up on pretty weak teams. So I really don't see them competing with Ryan.
Tanner or Jordan? Is this where you're gonna be a little
No,
different?
yeah, it's Ryan. I'm sorry. I'm not betting against Ryan.
I bet against Ryan last week and it bit me in the butt. So
you should do it again.
Okay, I'm going Fire.
So the only one that we have a difference in, and I know that I'm probably going to take the L on this one, but is the Enthroners.
You have 5 seconds to switch it if you want.
3. All right, fine. I'm going to switch it. Let's go Vroslav.
We're all having the same. So my graphic is just going to be, we have the same picks.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what? Let's say we have the same picks, but if Verivar does beat Vroslav, we should give Jordan like half a point or something.
Yeah, we'll give Jordan half.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I can see a world. I can see a world.
I can see a world where the Seamen beat the Dragons, but
oh yeah, but I'm not going to choose against my Dragons. Not against another bottom tier team. No.
Yeah. Sick.
Easy week.
Easy week. We talked about parity in a league. That was pretty clean sweep, if I had to say so myself.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of like how Rivals. God, I cannot say Rivals Week.
Rivalry Week. It's not Rivals Week. It's
whatever. Anemone. You couldn't pronounce homeboy's name.
Try it again. What is his name? Do you remember?
I don't have it pulled up. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the spelling, so I'd have to look it up too. But
it was Leninma.
Leninma.
Yeah.
Leninma.
Kimi Leninma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out him again. Did he go to Hungary? Is that where he went?
No, he went to Vienna.
Oh, he went to Vienna?
He was the 2022 championship game MVP.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Let's get him on the pod.
All right.
Specifically so Danny can introduce him.
Welcome, Kimi Leninma.
And then me and Tanner are going to have to apologize, be like, sorry for the behavior of our American friend here.
His cracker ass.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay.
On that note, I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think that needs to be the clear cut into the show. Thanks so much for listening to the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football, especially if you're an ELF fan, because again, we are the number one talked about ELF podcast of 2024, and I will die on that hill. Ain't nobody can say shit to us. So thanks again, everyone. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
You better call Tyrone. Call him.